Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. We'll jump right into it today with our next guest. First question, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Sean. I'm Weston LaBar. I'm an entrepreneur and an executive. I've ran and founded many organizations over the years, but currently I'm a founding partner of Pair Strategies. I'm founding CEO and president of Ventures 52, and I'm the CEO of the Harbor Trucking Association.
You are a busy guy, to say the least.
We stay busy, but we like it that way.
Very good. Question number 2, what's the best thing about working with a team?
Well, I've always been an athletics guy. I love sports and I love team sports. And I always have appreciated the opportunity to work with other folks, see how you can use your skill set to make their skill sets better and vice versa. And let's be honest, it's really hard to carry the water all by yourself. So understanding what you're good at and surrounding yourself with folks that have complementary skills, in my experience, has always just made for a better organization, a better company. And when everybody's bought in, they have the same culture, they have the same goals, and they have that win first attitude, anything can be accomplished.
That's great. Question number 3, I hear from other team leaders that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. I think it really starts with culture, first and foremost. It's really hard to get folks to engage or to put their best foot forward if they don't believe in what they're doing. And the first thing I like to do is to make sure that folks have the same sense of values that I do, and they also believe in whatever our mission statement is for the project at hand. And so getting them to buy into your culture, getting them to understand that if you lead by example, that you're never going to ask them to do something that they don't do themselves. These are the types of things that help engage folks. But I'll share a quick story. When I was in college, I ran a fraternity of 50 plus folks I could not fire, but we needed everybody to show up to the philanthropy event or the local food bank or whatever we might be doing that week. And you learn pretty quickly how to motivate other people to do things and how to be part of a productive team.
Great comments, and I love that story. Thank you for sharing it. Question number 4, what other piece of advice would you share with leaders of teams?
Yeah, first and foremost is lead by example. You have to be willing to engage your team. You have to be willing to do things that you're asking them to do. You can't be a do what I say, not what I do guy. You have to lead by example, show folks that you care. And I think in many instances, folks understand when folks are genuine or when they're phoning it in. And if you're a genuine leader who takes the onus on themselves to make sure you get across the finish line, people tend to resonate with that and they're willing to step up and do their part.
Great comments. Question number 5, what other successful team leaders, such as yourself, would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate because I've been an entrepreneur and I've done a lot of consulting work. I've worked with so many different folks and I've got to take best practices from different types of leaders. At a young age, I had some tremendous athletic coaches. And I think that starts at your most, the years of your greatest influence are when you're in your teenage years and a little bit younger. And so learning what it was like to be part of a team and take direction and applying that moving forward has been great. There's just a couple names I would put out. One is Coach White. He was my 7th and 8th grade basketball coach. After I graduated college, I went back and coached in a youth program that he put on. He was a very big influence in my life. A gentleman named George Boyle, who is now, he passed away a few years ago, but he was board president for one of my organizations. And he's somebody I learned a great deal about how to be humble when you're successful, but how to act and how to treat other people and how to lead by example. And then in general, I always took a lot of, again, a huge sports fan. I always took a lot of influence from Coach Mike Krzyzewski from the Duke Blue Devils. I felt like there's a guy who's always had the spotlight on him, but he was always found a way to do it the right way and try to make sure that the folks that leave are not just great basketball players, but they're better members of society when they graduate or maybe leave early because they tend to have a set of skills you and I don't. But those are the types of folks that I've always looked at and resonated with. And I'm very fortunate. I've had so many countless others that I don't have the time to bring up now.
Well, I share your enthusiasm for team sports, and I share your appreciation for the coaches that help make it happen. So thank you for recognizing those folks. Last question. Tell us a little bit about your first job.
Yeah. So my very first job, I was, I could tell you I was CEO of Weston's lemonade stand, but I don't know if that really counts. But my first real job, I'm going to go, in college. My buddy and I were doing the retail thing, and we actually started our first company in college. So I'm going to count that. And we became electricians. And the state of Vermont has apparently very lax building contractor laws, or at least they did in the early 2000s. But learning how, while you're in college, you're managing the class load. As I said, I had a company of 50 fraternity brothers that I couldn't fire. And we found time on the weekends. We worked at nights and weekends and probably did about a half dozen home remodels from an electrical standpoint over the 2 years that we had the company. And that's where I really learned time management. I learned about teamwork. I learned about getting folks motivated to come in and do work after maybe they had one too many drinks the night before, and making sure that they didn't phone it in as we were paying them hourly wage. But that was such a great experience because that's where I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be somebody who made opportunities for other people. And I knew that if I didn't have a good sense of self and I didn't know how to police my own inhibitions, if you will, making sure I didn't stay up too late the night before, I wasn't going to be able to make that happen. So it was a great experience, and it's been an impression that's been left on me for the rest of my life.
Definitely some great lessons learned there. So thank you for sharing those. And Weston, thank you also for being on our podcast today. How can people find you?
Yeah, very simply, send me an email, Weston, Weston, at ventures52.com. It's ventures, the number 52. 52 is an homage to, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so Super Bowl 52 is when we finally got over the hump. And then I'm literally the only Weston LaBar in the world. So if you Google me, my LinkedIn profile is one of the very first things that pops up on Google. And I would welcome folks to connect with me on LinkedIn. It's been a great opportunity. It's where I connected with you, Sean. And I've always felt like it was a great way to further your network, further your personal and cultural abilities to interact with folks. And please, I would encourage folks to just message me on LinkedIn. Let's connect.
Fantastic. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can find us on LinkedIn by searching Blue Sky Business Consulting. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.